On the news, Nigeria records highest single-day COVID-19 recoveries as toll nears 12,000. Police begin manhunts for killers of Kogi State police officers. And West Libya forces seize last Haftar Khalifa stronghold. Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. Nigeria has recorded its highest single-day COVID-19 recoveries after 206 patients were discharged from isolation centers across the country on Thursday. In a tweet published on Thursday midnight, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) says the recent recoveries pushed the toll to 3,535. The agency, however, announced 350 new cases in 19 states and the Federal Capital Territory to bring the national tally to 11,516. It also adds that the fatality figure has surged to 323. Lagos State government has charged citizens not to panic due to the rising toll of coronavirus in the state. Commissioner for Health Aki Abayomi gave the charge on Friday while also speaking on the state's testing capacity and measures adopted to contain the rising number of confirmed cases. This report has the details.
With almost 12,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases and strict testing criteria, many Nigerians have begun exploring alternatives to get tested for the virus. This has given rise to the emergence of rapid testing kits, most of which promise quick results. But the accuracy of these kits have come under question, and the Lagos State government has been explaining why it is yet to approve them for official use.
These rapid diagnostic tests are fast. You should get the result in about 5 to 10 minutes. So if these tests actually worked accurately, it would be a fantastic opportunity for us to actually perform widespread testing and get results very quickly. The problem is these tests, majority of them, are extremely inaccurate. Now, if you do a COVID-19 test on a rapid diagnostic test and it is positive, as I've told you, many of these tests have a limitation on their accuracy, which means if you're positive on a rapid test, we still have to confirm it with the molecular test, or what we call the PCR test, because only the PCR test is 100% accurate.
Lagos remains the worst hit in the COVID-19 pandemic in Nigeria, with over 5,500 confirmed cases. To effectively manage this number, the government has adopted new measures, including home treatment for patients with mild symptoms. Abayomi says the initiative, which will begin in about 2 weeks, will be guided by these criteria.
Part of the criteria is your home adequate for home management? That's one. And the second part of the criteria is, are you well enough to be managed at home? If you are feeling very unwell and you're having breathing problems, then obviously home is not a place that we can manage you. It is better for us to move you to an isolation center where we can monitor you more closely.
He also revealed that more private hospitals will be approved to treat and manage COVID-19 cases.
For managing patients, we have gone through the process of accrediting 3 private hospitals. One is already admitting patients and 2 are going to start admitting patients any moment from now. They've passed the biosecurity compliance tests. They've made modifications to their hospitals so that their staff are not put in danger, and other patients that may go to that hospital are not put in a position of higher risk of contracting COVID-19. Those private hospitals have passed the test, and we're just in the process of giving them their accreditation credentials so that they can start managing COVID-19 in the private sector.
Amid efforts to contain the pandemic, many non-COVID-19 patients have been sidelined and abandoned, leading to avoidable deaths across the country. The Commissioner highlights steps taken by the Lagos State government to address this issue.
We don't want COVID to affect non-COVID patients. So we don't want people to stay away from the hospital because, the doctors are, it would give the impression that doctors are concentrating on COVID-19. That's not true. Many of our doctors are not involved in COVID-19. We've done it that way to make sure that there are doctors that are attending to COVID-19, and there are doctors, in fact, more doctors that are to remain in their position attending to non-COVID illnesses.
Abayemi also reveals that the state government has begun producing oxygen to enable it effectively manage patients in critical condition. Fidelia Aguncha, TV360, Lagos.
But elsewhere in Kogi State, the government has lifted the lockdown imposed on Kababanu, a local government area of the state, over suspected cases of COVID-19. Governor Yahaya Bello announced this on Friday at the government house in Lokoja, the state capital. He explains that the decision became necessary after the results of all the samples taken and subjected to tests by health workers in the local government came out negative. Bello insists that Kogi State remains COVID-19 free. The governor's stance, however, contradicts that of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, which reports that 3 COVID-19 cases have been confirmed in Kogi State. Now, rather than collect samples for COVID-19 testing at designated centers, medics would visit Kano State residents in their homes as part of a new house-to-house sample collection exercise in Kano State. Speaking at a press briefing organized by the state's task force on COVID-19, Governor Abdullahi Ganduje announced that the new house-to-house sample collection exercise would hold within the metropolitan local government areas such as Turani, Nasarawa and Kano Municipal, where most of the confirmed positive cases of COVID-19 are concentrated. He also said the objective was to contain the spread of the disease in Kano to improve the successes of the state in the fight against COVID-19. A Nigerian firm has designed a mobile COVID-19 sample collection booth to ramp up testing in Africa's most populous country. This next report has the details. For Nigeria's fight against coronavirus, this box could make all the difference. It's called the TS module, a prototype that allows medics simultaneously collect samples to be tested for COVID-19. The mobile sample collection box was designed and built within 3 weeks by Interstreet Messenger Technologies, a Lagos-based firm owned by Azuka Ijeke. To set this up, Azuka applied his academic knowledge of biological sciences, his experience in manufacturing, combined with technology and the efforts of a small team of industrial designers, engineers and fabricators, with the aim of building a product that can help flatten the curve.
We realize that sample collection is very important, which is what leads to testing. But the biggest constraint is personal protective equipment. It is expensive, most of it is single use, and it is most required at the front line where the doctors and the nurses are attending directly to patients. So at the sample collection stage, we feel that if at that stage we can remove the need for personal protective equipment, we will be helping the cause. That means more of the personal protective equipment will be used by those in the front line. And that's where the TS module comes in.
The innovation with the TS module is that it's built with positive pressure. This means that air does not flow from the outside into the booth, and so it's sterile, a condition that allows medics collect samples without wearing protective personal gear, without touching patients, and without the risk of contracting the virus. But there's more to this design.
It's something that's been done in Korea, but they had single-use booths. But strictly designed for our need is the TS model. This booth is a 2-station booth to start with. 2-station because we realize that we're 200 million people. And we're an economy that again, we need to maximize the use of every fund that we invest. For that reason, we have put in 2 stations. So there is a simultaneous collection of sample on both sides of the boat. That ensures that the return on investment is ramped up.
And this was built by local hands with locally sourced materials.
Everything for the design came from here. The choice of what was used for the structure, the choice of the cladding, even the sensors that were used, everything was obtained locally. So we didn't have any help from abroad.
Interstreet projects that with 20 of their booths, each state can test almost 5,000 samples daily, proving to be a prototype that can help the NCDC achieve its target of testing 50,000 people in 36 states by July 2020. Aneta Felix, TV360, Lagos, Nigeria. South Africa has recorded 3,267 novel coronavirus cases in 24 hours, the biggest jump since the pandemic hit the country. This brings the country's toll to 40,792 infections. The country's health ministry also announced 56 new deaths to bring the fatality figure to 848. More than half of the cases in the Western Cape region, where health services are under pressure. South Africa is the sub-Saharan African country's hardest hit by the pandemic. The development is coming almost 2 weeks after President Cyril Ramaphosa approved the gradual ease of the lockdown imposed to contain the spread of the virus and reopening of the economy. Let's take a break here and bring you up to speed with the latest insecurity around the country.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
On TV360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country?
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that
TV360, providing clarity to issues.
Nigeria's police chief Muhammad Adamu has ordered a manhunt for the robbers who attacked Isanlu police station in Kogi State, killing 8 policemen. On Thursday, 9 persons, including 8 policemen, were killed in Isanlu when a gang of robbers attacked a bank in the town. The armed men invaded the police station, setting all the detainees free before killing the officers. They subsequently moved to the bank where they carted away an undisclosed amount of money. In a series of tweets on Friday, the Nigeria Police Force said the IGP has directed a full-scale manhunt for the perpetrators of the attack. Adamo also deployed a team of detectives from the Intelligence Response Team, the Special Tactical Squad, and Federal SARS to the state in order to arrest the perpetrators. All hands must be on deck to bring an end to terrorism in the Sahel and Lake Chad region. And this is according to Sheyi Fadani, the Students' Country Director of the Africa Security Forum, Nigeria. He said this while reacting to the newly established task force Takabu by France and several of its European allies to fight armed groups in the West African Sahel region alongside the armies of Mali and Niger. Fadani lauded the move but called for more concerted efforts towards funding from African leaders to liberate the region from terrorist groups.
It is a misconception that some outside forces will come to Africa and eradicate the jihadists and violent extremists. We have the Multinational Joint Task Force, we have the G5 Sahel and other agencies. But then, it is not about bringing battalions of army to Africa to defeat security crisis in Africa. It has to do with local effort. There must be a synergy. There must be cooperation between local security forces and the people. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and other terrorist organizations, they are expanding to Africa. So there are some things that ought to be done for them to be tackled. Which I've said earlier, border security, there must be tight security measures put in place that will prevent terrorists traveling from one region to another. Then countering of terrorist financing. This is very key. If you want to tackle violent extremism, terrorism, terrorist financing is one of the things that these terrorist people use to strengthen themselves, like kidnapping. When at times they do kidnapping for ransom. When they kidnap for ransom, this is where they get money. The onus is on the Sahel and Lake Chad region state to deal with insurgency in their backyard. We shouldn't blame world leaders for what is happening in Africa. It is our terrain, it is our land.
Justice is closed for Janet Ogunaya, a mother of 5 who was allegedly drugged, murdered and buried in a septic tank in Abuja, as the police operatives have arrested 3 suspects in connection to the crime. According to a statement by Force Public Relations Officer DCP Frank Omba, the Intelligence Response Unit of the Nigerian Police Force arrested the siblings identified as Johnson Emmanuel, age 38, Gideon Emmanuel, age 31, and Success Emmanuel, age 27. Omba said the police began investigating the case when one of her sons, Chinedu Ogunaya, reported that his 55-year-old mother had been kidnapped and that the kidnappers were demanding a 5 million naira ransom. The police spokesman explained that they discovered the body of the victim in a septic tank. Her remains have now been taken to the University Teaching Hospital, Gwagwalada, Abuja, for forensic examination, while the suspects remain in police custody. The Nigeria Police Force has been charged to ensure prompt investigation, prosecution and conclusion of all rape and gender-based violence cases in Nigeria. The demand was made by a group of protesters who marched to the police headquarters in Abuja. Receiving the protesters, police spokesman Frank Omba said the force is committed to getting justice for rape victims. He, however, charged families of the victims to be equally committed to getting justice for their victims.
I'm a woman, I'm a human being. I've suffered different kinds of violence related to sexual and gender-based violence. And so I'm here to call on the government to declare a state of emergency on sexual and gender-based violence. We are tired of dying. We are tired of all of this. We want to be treated as human beings. We shouldn't count only during elections. We should count before election.
And we're calling on our government to declare a state of emergency on gender-based violence. If our women does not feel safe, our country cannot be prosperous. If people keep abusing women and little girls, it shows that our country and our community have lost it. I believe that as a family unit, we need to go back and start educating boys. How are we raising our boy child?
We must end the connivance of relatives to shut down police investigation and to shut down prosecutions. We have seen so many cases where we have tidied up investigations involving rapes, only for the victim's family to turn around, reconcile and strike a deal with the suspects, and then they come back to the police to say they are no longer interested in the prosecution. And even when we insist on prosecuting, whether they support us or not, they get to the court and they turn around to become hostile witnesses.
The All Progressives Congress will screen 6 governorship aspirants for its primary election to elect its governorship candidate in Edo State. In a statement on Friday, APC's National Publicity Secretary Lanre Isaonilu said the 6 aspirants have bought, completed and submitted the party's expression of interest and nomination forms. They include Edo State Governor Gordon Obaseki, Osage Izeyamu, Pius Odubu, Chris Ogenwonyi, Osaro Obazi, and Matthew. Isaonilu says the APC has made the submitted information and documents of the governorship aspirant available to its members and the public for verification of claims as part of its commitments to ensuring due diligence and transparency in the screening exercise. He noted that this would be followed by a screening appeal on June 12th before the primary election and an election appeal scheduled for June 22nd and 24th, respectively. Let's take a break here to return and join Fidelia Aguncha for business stories.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
You're welcome back. Let's now join Fidelia Aguncha for the latest business stories.
Thank you very much, Annetta. The Bureau of the Board of Governors of the African Development Bank have backed the investigation carried out by its Ethics Committee into corruption allegations leveled against Akinwumi Adesina, president of the bank. In a communique, the board said it has agreed to authorize an independent review of the committee's report in the interest of due process and the need to carry every governor along in resolving it. It said the independent review would be conducted by a neutral high-caliber individual with unquestionable experience, high international reputation, and integrity. The U.S. had demanded an independent probe of the allegations after the Ethics Committee cleared Adesina, but President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Adesina of his support, while Adesina has denied all the allegations leveled against him. We'll now look at activities on the stock market after this break. The bear drag at the NSE enters a second day, this time almost triple of what we saw yesterday when the market dropped by 0.38%. Today's negative trend saw the oil share index drop by about 300 basis points to close at 25,016 points, while the market value, which stood at 13.2 trillion naira at the start of trading today, closed at 13.04 trillion naira. Now, sectorally, the industrial goods index took the biggest hit, and it's not surprising that these market giants are topping the losers chart. Dangote Cement is falling for the third consecutive day this week, while BUA Cement right here is making its first appearance in the top four on the losers chart today. It was also a bad day for Nigeria Breweries right here, and Cadbury PLC sitting on the third and fourth spot of the losers chart. On the flip side, however, Budge Gas had a good day, appreciating by 4 kobo, while Sky Aviation PLC sits on the second spot of the gainers chart. It was also a good trading day for Nascon Allied PLC and Custodian PLC. Summary, the market's total of 214 million shares valued at about 2.5 billion naira were transacted in 4,342 deals. And outside Nigeria now, FTSE Dow and Nikkei are having a good day, just like they did yesterday, all posting gains. That's it from the world of business. It's back to Nata Felix.
Thanks for that, Fidelia. Moving on now, forces loyal to Libya's internationally recognized government captured the last major stronghold of Eastern Commander Khalifa Haftar near Tripoli on Friday, capping the sudden collapse of his 14-month offensive on the capital. Military sources in Haftar's Libyan National Army said their forces had withdrawn from the town of Tahuna, heading towards Sirte far along the coast. Meanwhile, the LNA has made no official comment. The advance extends the control of the Government of National Accord, GNA, and allied forces across most of northwest Libya, reversing many of Haftar's gains from last year when he raced towards Tripoli. Portuguese professional footballer Cristiano Ronaldo has emerged as the first soccer billionaire. The 35-year-old Juventus star, according to Forbes, is the third outlet after Tiger Woods and Floyd Mayweather to hit the $1 billion earnings mark while still actively competing. Forbes, via its Twitter handle, said Ronaldo earned $105 million in the past year, making him number 4 on the 2020 Forbes list. His capital for the past year was second only to tennis superstar Roger Federer in the athletic world, and it made him number 1 in the game of football. And that's it at this time on News Now. Thank you for watching.